There is a type of person who walks through the world carrying the emotional weight of others. They are the listeners, the healers, the peacekeepers. They apologize for taking up space and feel the pain of a room as if it were their own. Society often sees them as gentle, sensitive, and perhaps even a little fragile. But the great psychologist Carl Jung saw something else. He saw a psychological pattern so profound that it challenged our very understanding of human nature. He saw that these gentle souls, these empaths, possess a hidden power. And when that power is finally awakened, often through a moment of profound betrayal, the transformation is one of the most beautiful and most powerful things one can witness. This is not a story about breaking down. It is a story about breaking through. It's about a journey that Jung documented. The path of the empath from an unconscious absorber of pain to a conscious wielder of profound insight. This is the story of the awakened empath. In his work, Jung encountered patient after patient who fit a specific profile. They were the emotional caretakers of their families and social circles, absorbing the anger of a parent, the anxieties of a partner, the dysfunction of a friend group. They were, in essence, the designated shock absorbers for the pain of others. The world saw them as victims, but Jung, with his deep insight into the unconscious, realized he was mistaken. He wasn't treating victims. He was sitting across from psychological geniuses in hiding. He discovered that these empaths weren't just passively enduring the pain, they were unconsciously studying it. With incredible precision, they were mapping the emotional landscapes of those around them. They kept detailed mental records of every person who had ever hurt them, not out of a desire for revenge, but because their minds are wired for an extraordinary level of pattern recognition. They could see the hidden triggers, the deep-seated insecurities, and the secret fears that drove people's behavior. As the ancient Greek philosopher Socrates urged, the highest wisdom is to know thyself. But the empath's gift, and their initial curse, is to know everyone else first. They learn to read the souls of others before they have been given permission to read their own. This profound sensitivity is not a flaw. It is a highly advanced form of intelligence, but society often treats it like a disorder. Have you ever voiced a perception pointing out a subtle manipulation or a hidden agenda, only to be told you are too sensitive or overthinking things? This is the core trauma of the unawakened empath. They are punished for their clarity. They are gaslit for their perception. And so, they learn to silence themselves. They learn to doubt the very gift that makes them special. They begin to believe that what they feel is wrong, and that the emotional blindness of others is normal. Jung understood this deeply. He knew that the greatest pain for an empath is not feeling too much, but being told that their feelings are not real. The truth, however, does not disappear when it is silenced. It accumulates, it builds pressure, and eventually, something has to give. Across his cases, Jung saw that the empath's transformation was never gradual. It was a sudden, seismic shift, an awakening, and the trigger was always the same: a profound betrayal by someone they had completely trusted and protected. It wasn't the act itself that caused the snap. It was the devastating realization that they had seen the warning signs all along and had chosen to ignore them out of love, hope, or a deep-seated need to see the best in people. In that moment, their pattern recognition ability finally overwhelms their capacity for self-deception. The abuser expects tears. They expect rage. They are prepared for an emotional storm. What they are not prepared for is what actually happens. The empath becomes unnaturally calm. This is not the calm of numbness or defeat. It is the calm of absolute, powerful clarity. Jung identified this as the moment of shadow integration. The empath's shadow is not evil. It is their suppressed power. It is their silenced intuition, their denied strength, and their unexpressed anger. In this moment, they stop rejecting these parts of themselves and finally integrate them. They become whole. And then, they begin to speak. Not with rage, but with the calm precision of a surgeon. They lay out every observation they have silently catalogued for years. This is not revenge. It is the simple, devastating act of telling the complete and unvarnished truth. Jung observed that this transformation was permanent. The awakened empath does not revert to being a people-pleaser. They do not apologize for their boundaries. They never again doubt their own perceptions. They have been to the bottom, and they have discovered that they are not made of glass, but of diamond. They become selectively empathetic. Their heart is not closed, it is guarded. Their gift of deep feeling is now a precious resource they offer only to those who have earned it. The ancient wisdom of the Buddha speaks of upekkha, or equanimity. It is not a cold detachment, but a balanced, unshakable peace. The awakened empath achieves this state. They can still feel everything, but they are no longer destroyed by it. This new presence is profoundly unsettling to those who are used to manipulating them. Manipulators, like predators, can sense when their usual tactics will no longer work. They feel the shift. The awakened empath doesn't need to build walls. Their wholeness is a fortress. Their calm presence becomes a mirror that reflects the manipulator's own dysfunction back at them, and they cannot stand the sight. This transformation doesn't just change the empath, it changes every system they are a part of. Dysfunctional family dynamics collapse because the empath is no longer willing to absorb the collective pain. Toxic friendships wither because there is no more fuel for the drama. Their awakening forces everyone around them to either evolve or reveal their true nature. The healthy people in their lives are inspired by their strength. The toxic people expose themselves through desperate attempts to pull them back into the old, familiar dance of dysfunction. Jung saw that these integrated empaths could have become the most skillful manipulators on Earth. They understand human psychology at a level that is almost supernatural. They could dismantle a person's ego with a few well-chosen words. But what truly amazed Jung was that they chose not to. They did not use their newfound power for destruction. Their revenge was simply to remove themselves from the equation. They walked away. Their victory was not in defeating their old enemies, but in making them irrelevant. They understood that the most profound use of their energy was not to tear down the old world that hurt them, but to build a new one for themselves. Jung's final notes on these cases reveal a beautiful and powerful conclusion. These awakened individuals became what we might call balanced warriors. They did not become the opposite of what they were. They became the complete version. They possess the capacity for incredible gentleness and compassion, but it is now paired with an implacable strength and an unwavering trust in their own perceptions. They prove that the empath's journey is not from sensitivity to numbness, but from unconscious absorption to conscious choice. If you are an empath, and this story resonates with you, understand this. Your sensitivity is not your weakness, it is your superpower in waiting. The world may have taught you to suppress it, but it has been there all along, observing, learning, and waiting for you to finally trust it. The moment of betrayal is not the end of your story. It is an invitation. It is the universe forcing you to finally choose between remaining a victim of your gift or becoming its master. Jung's research proves that this transformation is not only possible, it is your destiny, should you choose to accept it. You are not here to be a sponge for the world's pain. You are here to be a light. But a light, to shine brightly, must first learn to protect its own flame. The day you learn to wield your sensitivity with wisdom, to pair your compassion with boundaries, your intuition with action, is the day you become truly free. It is the day you achieve what Aristotle called eudaimonia, a state of true flourishing, based not on external validation, but on the full expression of your own virtuous and complete self.